Hey, good morning. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. This is David Steele, and this is the inside of a Red Thunder, a Kenworth W900. I'm actually sitting in the back right now, because I've just woken up. It's about 5 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and hit the remote start. I guess I'll just put on the stage 1 lighting like so. Let's switch to the outside view here. There we go. Alright, well, we are in Texas and we have behind us a load of frozen vegetables that I need to get on the road. Let's take a look at my trip details. We've got to Abilene, got to get there by just after 1, so I've got plenty of time. I've got 7 hours and 47 minutes to get there. Excuse me. So, you know what though? Let's jump back in. Let's sit back into the cabin. And that's not something you see every day. You see somebody having a picnic at 5 a.m. or maybe he's on the phone. I don't know. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and just check my instruments here. Plenty of fuel. Things are still cold, but that's okay. Alright, put it in gear, and we'll gently make our way onto the interstate, I believe. Hey, someone's let me out. Thank you, thank you. There we go. Alright, so equipment today. I've already mentioned I'm in Red Thunder. That's the long wheelbase Kenworth W900. If you're not familiar with Red Thunder, typically she's configured as the I think it's the long sleeper. It's an 82-inch with the aero roof extensions. 6x4, because you never know what kind of terrain I'm going to come across. Looking good. But I do change around the powertrain, the engine, and the transmission quite a lot. Which is a lot of miles. Just commit to 1.3 million. Not all of those are my own, but more than half are. Under the hood today, we're using a Cummins ISX. Now, this is the first generation ISX. It's known as an ISX EGR in some circles. That's what Z calls it for his mod. Tentatively, I've named this the ISX double overhead cam DOHC, because the original generation ISX did have that camshaft arrangement. It was later replaced with a single overhead cam, I believe. It's going to hit cruise there. I've got my oil temperature is pretty much up to normal. We will let's just check my progress. Well, it's saying it's going to take me 3 hours to get there. On the dashboard, under the cruise control, we've got the time, and then at the bottom left it says 3 hours and 9 minutes. That's how long it's going to take me to get there. I'm going to just cruise along at 55 till I get used to everything. So I can talk a little bit about the truck. So yeah, I've got an ISX under the hood, and today I'm using the stock 10-speed UltraShift transmission that comes with the game. This is a beta test for this particular engine. I'm thinking about bringing it to the Steel Production engine pack. Sound-wise, though we're in a Kenworth W900, we're using the standard SCS Peterbilt 389 sound, just for a change, really. I don't know whether I will or won't use that. Not sure. Big yawn from me. It's been a busy week. Quite a bit of travel in the real world. From me, and yeah, it's kind of showing. Plus, I'm still recovering from human malware. It's not going to mention the name of that, because not that this channel is monetized, or even I'm particularly interested in earning money off the channel. It's because I like to share stuff, but I don't particularly want to get black flagged by YouTube for mentioning a viral infection pandemic that one should not mention. Go ahead and use the right lane. So Yes, I'm using an original generation Cummins ISX, and this particular flavour engine is the 450 Fleet. That's what it's called, and that's notable for a couple of reasons, I think, in the ISX brochure. So the engine is available from 450 to 600 horsepower, with torque ratings of either 1650 or 1850 foot-pounds of torque. If you want more torque, you have to go to the Signature. Now, it's not the ISX Signature, it's just called the Signature. It's a little unclear whether you can convert a normal ISX to the Signature, and let me explain why. So, with the exception of the 450 Fleet, any of the ISX engines, the 485 up to the 600, can have the rating changed to be anything else in that family. That's on the same page that the Signature is also showing, and the Signature is 2050 foot-pounds of torque and 600 horsepower rated. So the exception is the Fleet, that is 450 rated horsepower and 1650 foot-pounds of torque, and you can't change that. The literature explains that the ISX Fleet is bespoke hardware for that configuration, and can't be changed. And so that's the reason why I'm using the stock 10-speed here. This is kind of effectively a Fleet spec W900 with this engine. Whether you really would configure a W900 like this, that's debatable. I mean, you might, but then you're just as likely to get if you wanted the low power ISX, you might go for the 485 1650. Either way, it doesn't matter too much. Let's turn my cruise up. I'm going to go ahead and hit cruise at 70. It's going to get a little noisy here, but that's okay. We want to make a little bit of time. Because, let's face it, if this were a Fleet delivery, it's useful to get there in good time. So yeah, the Fleet 450 is fixed. You can't officially tune it or change the rating and go up or down the rating range. The guide explains that this is for efficiency. It kind of makes sense. I mean, Cummins have optimized everything for that power output and that size engine. Okay, great. So you might expect slightly better mileage from a 450 as opposed to a 485 ISX. Maybe. I'm going to have to slow down. Oh yeah, I have to brake. I'm going to use the left lane. Get out in front of everyone else, but I fully expect to be braking pretty firmly and, oh, perhaps not. There we go. This black car could have moved out, but didn't. So yes, I would expect this to be kind of the economy tune, hence the economy engine is resumed back at 70. So the 10-speed, it's an UltraShift, so it's automated. I'm not doing any of the shifting myself today, and I wouldn't expect, I can do it manually, but for this kind of vehicle, it might be a manual 10-speed, but we're going with the automated. So yeah, it's a little noisy at 70, but that's okay. Efficiency-wise, it's probably better than the other ISX engines, but only by a few percent. Maybe. One of the advantages of having a lesser powered engine is that you don't have the ability to burn more fuel because you can't produce as much power. So by the ratings, the most fuel I can burn is 450 horsepower worth. Did I? What the heck? Yeah, I guess I merged in front of this guy and it's probably damaged my trailer. That's a bit of one-handed driving here, that's no good. Hello, officer. Oh, crap. Okay, I didn't damage anything. Got a bit of tyre wear, I think, on the tractor engine. That's why it's showing 4%. Anyway, Alright. Keep losing my train of thought, but this truck is happily cruising at 70 with 1700 revs on. The cargo is not particularly heavy, it's just shy of 28,000 pounds of cargo, plus the trailer and everything else. So it's not a heavy cargo, and the engine is very capable. I say very. The engine is certainly capable. All over the road. Let me focus on my driving. I guess this guy's going to do 75 eventually. Yeah, let's drop the speed to 65. In fact, let's go the whole economy speed of 55. Because I've got plenty of time. I don't have to get there for another almost 5 hours. Plus, this is a beta test of this engine and transmission. So I do want to experiment just a little bit with how well it performs and shifts up and shifts down. Although, this kind of engine and this kind of cargo, if it's my second test of this, I've only tweaked a couple of things, it's performing great. I can let the speed drop. I think it'll do as low as 45 in top gear, but only on the flat.
Keep left.
Merge left after this car. Well, leaving a little late, but there we go. Okay. And so 47, and it's 45. Okay, it will drive along at 45, and I did tweak the shift points just a little bit. It's probably not the happiest at this speed, but we're going to assume that it will let me do it. Peak torque is produced at 1150 RPM. In fact, I think in this engine's case it's 1150 to 1400, though it might be a little bit wider than that. And that's true of all of the ISX EGR or the double overhead cam or the DOHC. I don't know quite how you say that. Let's use some service brake here. There we go. So let's see how well it shifts when I'm just trickling around. So I'm off the power. Now, in fact, I can actually show what I'm doing. I'm now back on the power, just a feather of power, off a little bit. Barely giving it any. If I squeeze it a little harder, you see how the little economy gauge shows that my consumption's gone higher. See, when's it going to shift? That's 1500 revs, and it shifts to just over 11. I mean, that's fair enough. It's a 10 speed. I'm going to ease off all the way. I've got to turn left up here. Let's back on the power. Let's merge into this lane. Is this going to let me in? Well, he will, because I'll force my way in, but that wasn't very polite of me. If I try and short shift it to 1000 revs, yeah, it'll do it. It's just its preference is not to be driving along at 1000 revs or 1050 revs in any particular gear. It'll do it. Okay, that's good to know. That's what I expected it to do. Can I make it here? I'm going to try. Oh gosh. The answer to that question was really a no. I'm off his Christmas card list. The guy I pulled out in front of. Alright. So under normal acceleration, it's going to use about 1550, 1600, yeah, there we go, to 1250, and that puts it right back into its power band. That's pretty easy to set up. It's what happens when you let the speed drop. So if I left off completely now at 1400 revs, choose a bit of engine brake. Oh yeah, and something else I did with the fleet was I programmed it to downshift. Under the expectation that one would be using it with an automated transmission that little bit more, and that's probably how fleets might want it to work. So I'm giving it just a hint of power, letting the speed drop. Yeah, it's not really slowing down that much. Down to 20, so it's 1100 revs about now. When's it going to downshift? That's just under 1100. That's maybe 1050 now. It's about 1000, and it's still happy to drive along. If I set cruise, yeah, okay. So I set cruise, and it downshifted. Let's force it to upshift. Oh, it will. Okay. Ah, there we go. So it was only happy until it reached a slight uphill gradient or change of speed, and then it had to shift. All right. Well, that's good to know. I don't usually show this part of the test because, well, it's kind of boring, I suppose, driving along at different speeds and then tweaking around with the shift points, forcing a shift. So like now, just over 30, if I force a shift up, yeah, it doesn't like it at that speed. If I go a little quicker, hit roughly 35 and shift up, it's happy, which makes sense. I don't want to try and run this engine at sort of Packard MX-13 crankshaft speeds. So 1000 RPM or just over 1000 seems to be, watching YouTube and watching drivers seems to be about the lowest they might go occasionally, but generally they want to be going a little higher than that engine speed wise. And it figures. So 45, I know it'll do it in top just, there we go. This is lugging it a little. I'm going to lift off completely. And it says, oh, wow. It said give way to the ramp, and I almost hit that, was that charger? Sorry everyone, sorry. I should pay attention. To be fair, that is quite easy to do in the road in Texas in real life if you're not really used to it. Or if you're tired. And my voice is telling me I'm tired. Alright, so let's concentrate and negotiate on where I actually need to be going. Let's change my dashboard. I'm guessing yeah, I am almost there. Okay. Yeah, I'm 5 minutes away according to my dashboard. But the fact I can see it on the navigation system tells me, I think, is it the drinks facility? Yeah. That great big white building just to the right. Okay. So for an engine that's not really meant to be exciting and no great shakes, what I'm really looking for is something that is quite happy with the 10 speed. And 10 speed, you have a bigger number of revs between the different gears. So everything is easy with an 18 speed. Maybe a bit of a simplification, but with an 18 speed, from an engine tuning perspective, it's quite easy to mess it up such that you can end up having to change through each gear individually, and it's easy to do, but it's also easy to fix. It just takes a little bit of time. So if you ever had a mod engine in a truck and you're using a stock 18 speed and it's going through every single gear individually, that's a lot of changing gears between sort of rest and a cruise. That's not fun. I want to tune that out of my engines. Now if you're heavy, that's fair enough, but for a cargo like this, it should be shifting 2 or 3.
Here we are, safe and sound.
Alright, let's say hello to this guy. Boy, Gov. He doesn't seem particularly interested, so let's see. What have we got? Where do we need it? Let's go ahead and do that. I guess this stuff's going to go into one of their drinks. I haven't really used the external view that much. I'm benefiting from a few of the... Oh, this is a little difficult. I mean, I can turn around, or I can... I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to drive past it, turn around behind it, and then come back through. It might be easy to... It's not really easy either way. You know what? Let's go ahead and turn it around here. So, I was about to say that Red Thunder benefits from a few of the SCS W900 tuning pack additions. In particular, the aluminium side. So the whole step thing I've got going on there. front and rear steps. It's an aluminium tank as opposed to a chrome tank, because I don't mind chrome, but I wanted Red Thunder to be just a little bit more. Let's turn the lights off. Just a little bit more fleet specky as opposed to chrome will get me home approach. We still have the whole chrome sun shield and fly shield on the hood. I went with the red mirrors, the red auxiliary mirrors on the front fender, as opposed to the chrome ones. I quite like the sort of red and red look, matches the mirrors, which are also red. Okay, let's do that. I do have the Jasper wheel pack, thanks to Zach, but in this case I'm using 22.5 inch from the stock game actually. And I've tried it with various headlights. Right now I'm using, I believe, the stock lights that come with the standard game, but there are some nice LEDs also available. We've got that whole winged, is that Pegasus, on the front as well, because that looks cool. I like Pegasus. Plus those wings give me something to aim for. So what we're doing here, we've turned around. So what I try and do now, is this is a little hard to do, is judge where my trailer is going to be straightening up, but also give myself enough space to be able to get Red Thunder herself, so I've already messed it up here. I'm going to say underneath it, so that I'm able to guide it in. Okay, so I started to turn way too early. Here I've not got enough space to make this easy on myself. So let's go ahead and maneuver again. What I want to do is full right lock and then try and point the trailer towards the space. I think I have enough room to do it, but I hope no one's watching me. Yeah, I made this pretty difficult on myself. Okay, so that's got to give it full left lock now to try and straighten. So difficult sometimes. Well, I find it difficult, especially with I know that a long trailer and a short truck can be easier than a shorter trailer and a long truck, which is exactly what I've got here today. Okay, I mean it's not that short a trailer. In fact, it might just be a 46 inch foot even, not inch. Alright, let's try and line that up now. That's better. Doing this in the cabin would be very difficult. This would be a long video if I kept it in the cabin. It's much easier with the external view. It's looking a little more like it. The trailer's not straight to the spot, but it's easier to correct it from this angle. Besides, it's not a parking maneuver if there isn't a whole bunch of wiggling, right? I'm not quite straight, but I'm pretty close. I may need to just kill the speed a little. Okay, I'll get it moving and then give myself full left lock to try. There it was. So it reckons that that's good enough. I've just bumped into the end. Let's I don't really want to leave it like this, but I also don't want this video to be that much longer than it has to be. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. Actually, no, first things first. Let's check what my trip says. Yeah, so I've probably got close to 6 miles per gallon from this trip, which I think is, all things considered, is not bad really. It's not exactly a small truck, so let's find out. 242 miles and 44.1 gallons. Yeah, not as good as I thought. It's about 5.5 something, I think. Okay, well, you know what? It's fair enough. I wasn't being particularly gentle with the speeds there. Well, I hope that you enjoy this. You got a bit more insight in some of the low speed playing around with the transmissions and the engines, and I performed those tests with, well, all of the stock transmissions, and usually a few of the optional ones that people might want to use. And sometimes if the engine shift point, the gear shift points aren't quite where I want to be, I have to go in, tweak those, go back in, perform another test. Sometimes I'll end up adjusting those by just, well, the smallest I've had to adjust one and it's stuck has been, I think, 2 RPM. Just 2. It's not that I'm a perfectionist, if I'm happy driving it, I hope other people are. Anyway, just about brings this one to a close, so I hope that you've enjoyed this, and if you have, you know what to do. If you can't stand this video and you don't like the content, go ahead and click dislike, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.